using any three prescribed texts. Show how coincidence is important to our understanding of the various texts. In unanswered cries, Olabisi visits her mother in the village. And coincidentally, she witnesses the Bondo procession, which captivates her as she wants to take some memorable pictures. She had also, earlier on, had a fight with the daughters of the Digba Sowe, in which she had been knocked unconscious and her mother had discovered that she is no longer a virgin. The issue of her being circumcised is raised because her mother thinks or believes that she can only control her sexual urge if she is circumcised. The consequence is that the Digba Sowe is very angry because Olabisi has uncovered Bondo's secrets, whereas she is a Boka, and threatens Makalai that if she does not bring Olabisi to the Bondo camp to be circumcised, she will face a difficult delivery, highlighting conflict and superstition. Olabisi escapes from Dauda to the forest to seek refuge and escape back to Freetown. Coincidentally, she lands at a hut in the forest, which she later learns to be the Bondo camp. Coincidentally, she sees a young girl who is brought in by her parents and forced to undergo such pain that her wailing is drowned by the drums and the singing. She is also caught by the Digba Sowe and her daughters and taken into the Bondo camp, where she is almost circumcised. But she fights her way out and runs and finally goes back to Freetown, highlighting determination, pain, tradition, and conflict. Olabisi is in the forest seeking for an escape route to Freetown. Coincidentally, she bumps on Pa Amado, who is also looking for her on the mother's instruction in exchange for a gift. She gives him some money and he helps her to escape back to Freetown, highlighting bribery. Olabisi arrives at Freetown after escaping from the village and narrates her ordeal in the village as her father asks her to take a bath. Coincidentally, there is a huge knock on the door and Makalai appears from the village to take Olabisi back so that she can be circumcised and for her to fulfill her promise to Yapose, highlighting conflict and superstition. Ade Jones opposes and decides to take the matter to court. Oya comes in to defend Olabisi as she wins the landmark case, as the judge decides that it is the decision of Olabisi for her to be circumcised or not, highlighting conflict and love. In Twilight of Misty Foliage, Kunan's wife refuses to give him food because of his flirtatious attitude. Coincidentally, the other mistresses in the village also refuse to give him food. He can't withstand hunger anymore and so steals food from his wife's kitchen. Unfortunately, he is smeared by soup, leaving him disgraced, highlighting conflicts. Afang Nkufi visits Va, coincides with the feast of Ekwakoko and Timbanambusa. The festival explains why men get stuck to the women who serve them with this delicacy, highlighting superstition. He also learns that no vile child works for the gas corporation that is located on the land, highlighting exploitation, marginalization, and discrimination. The hoodlums, led by Dracula, visit the bishop house in Liba and pretend to be businessmen. Although they are warmly welcomed by the bishop, who gives them food, drink, and comfortable beds, coincidentally, they have been given an assignment to kill the cardinal by Reverend Rotberger, who blames the cardinal for exposing his weaknesses and for causing him to have so many problems in the parish. They abduct the cardinal, torture him, and leave him believing that he is dead. But he miraculously survives, highlighting hypocrisy and evil in the society. In the swamp dwellers, Iguezu leaves the village for the city and coincidentally meets his twin brother. His twin brother is a wealthy timber merchant, and he uses his money to steal away his wife. He makes him to mortgage his crops, and he loses everything in the city and goes back frustrated, highlighting materialism, infidelity, frustration, and poverty. The blind beggar escapes from the north because of drought and locust. They had lost all their crops to locust, shattering their hopes and leaving many people to go to the city to beg on the streets. Coincidentally, he decides to take the southward journey to wherever he will meet water, where he can cultivate the land with his hands, and meets flood. While the north is suffering from drought, the south is suffering from excess water. And this water has destroyed all the crops in the village. All the land, even beneath the water, belongs to the serpent. And when the beggar brings in new ideas of land reclamation, it is considered a sacrilege by Makuri, highlighting faith, superstition, and conflict. Iguezu comes back from visiting his farm. Coincidentally, the Kadiye passes by to find out if he had made money in the city and wants to shave because the rains have stopped. He confronts him with some very pertinent questions, leaving the Kadiye to be angry and threatens Iguezu, highlighting conflict. Iguezu decides to leave the village for good, leaving behind the blind beggar as his bondsman to an unknown future.